Once upon a time, there was a giraffe named Ginger living in Kenya, located in the continent of Africa. Like all other giraffes, Ginger had a long neck and long legs. Because of her height, she could fit on the highest parts of trees in the plains. The place where Ginger lived was filled with grasses and tall trees, which was called savanna. Other animals like zebras and mountain goats couldn't reach the places that Ginger could, but Ginger always found food. Ginger loved the green leaves and new shoots of the trees very much. One day, Ginger was eating her favorite leaves along with other giraffes. It was a bright sunny day, and there weren't any clouds in the sky. It hadn't rained for a long time, so the grass and plants were all dry. Suddenly, Ginger heard a voice from below her long legs. It was her friend Mikey. Mikey was trying to speak and say something, but Ginger couldn't understand what he was saying. Mikey looked very tired. Ginger asked him, "What's wrong? What problem do you have?" Kids, Ginger was a very kind giraffe and wanted to help everyone. Just then, Mikey fell to the ground. Ginger was also a clever giraffe. She knew what the problem was. Mikey hadn't found anything to eat and had become very hungry and weak. So Ginger took some of the crisp, fresh leaves and buds from the top of the tree she was feeding from, chewed them, and then dropped them on the ground, right near where Mikey had fallen. At that moment, Ginger gently tapped Mikey with her long hoof to wake him up and said, "Get up, Mikey. I found some food for you to eat." Mikey slowly opened his eyes, sat up, and then began to eat. After a while, when Mikey felt better, Ginger asked him, "What happened, Mikey? Why are you so hungry? Why couldn't you find anything to eat?" Mikey said, "It's because it hasn't rained for a long time, and now there's no food left to eat." Ginger replied, "That's not good at all. What are the other animals doing? What's happening to them?" Mikey said, "No one knows what to do. All the zebras, mountain goats, and elephants are worried about the grass drying up. Some of them are thinking about leaving the grasslands and trying to make their way to the forest." Ginger asked, "That's a very long journey. Do you want to go with them?" Mikey replied, "I don't know. What do you think we should do?" Ginger thought for a moment and suddenly had a great idea. "We should go talk to the Lion King. He's the smartest animal in the entire grassland." Mikey was very tired and couldn't walk at all. So Ginger asked him to climb on his back. Ginger said, "Hold my neck tightly." Mikey laughed and said, "Wow, you have such a long neck." Ginger, while laughing, said, "You're right, I have the longest neck in Africa." And that's how they began their journey across the grassland to where the Lion King was located. Ginger and Mikey were lucky. The Lion King was sitting on a rock, and as they walked through the grass, they could easily see him. Ginger and Mikey shouted together, "Hello, Lion King." The Lion King was dozing and was annoyed at being, but he was polite and said, "Hello, Ginger and Mikey. Why did you come all this way from one side of the grassland to the other, just to wake me up?" But he was joking and a kind smile was on his lips. Ginger said, Mikey says there is no food left on the grassland because it has become very dry. Do you have any thoughts on this? The Lion King thought for a moment. Then he said, We can't do anything about the rain. It will start falling soon, but we can't be sure when it will happen or exactly when the rain will begin. When the rain comes, all the plants will grow back and there will be plenty of food for everyone. The Lion King thought a little more and then continued, The only thing I can think of is that all the animals should move towards the forest. There is more to eat there, but I know this is a long journey and not easy at all. It might take a few days to get there. Ginger and Mikey looked at each other and then stared at the Lion King. Ginger said, Thank you, Lion King. It's probably best for all the animals to try to reach the forest and get closer. Then they said their goodbyes and retraced the entire way had come. Now they needed to gather all the animals together to start their long and difficult journey to the forest. Ginger really didn't need to go with her friends and the other animals from the grassland to the forest because she had a plenty of food high up in the grassland trees. But she was a very good and kind friend and wanted to help her friends and other animals from the grassland as much as she could. They were slowly getting closer to Ginger's favorite trees. Yes, all the animals had already gathered there and were waiting for Ginger and Mikey. Ginger asked, Why did all of you come here? One of the zebras replied, The sharp-eyed eagle told us that you want to take us closer to the forest. Mikey asked, How did he know? One of the mountain goats said, He overheard you talking when you were speaking with the Lion King. Ginger said, So all of you decided to try and move towards the forest? All the animals replied, Yes. At that moment, one of the elephants added, Of course, if you help us get there. Ginger said, Yes, I will definitely help. I am your friend. So they began their great journey from the meadow towards the forest, and it was decided that Ginger would act as a guide and help her friends and the other animals along the way. The sun was very hot, and there was no food to eat and no place to drink water. At that moment they heard a sound. Yes, that was the sound of thunder. The animals shouted loudly, Thunder! Thunder and lightning were very scary and terrifying for animals. Yes, that's right, fire. Because sometimes lightning strikes the dry grass and in the meadow causes to catch fire. Therefore, they all started to run away, and exactly what they feared happened. The animals were shouting, Fire! They could see the flames and smell the smoke. The fire was coming straight towards them. Ginger had to think quickly, since she was much taller than all other animals. She stretched her long neck as high as she could. Now she could see a place where there was no fire. She quickly said, Run, hurry up, we all have to go this way. All the animals followed Ginger and ran as fast as they could. Soon they all escaped the danger zone. They stopped and gathered together once again. Ginger asked, Is everyone here? She wanted to make sure that all the meadow animals and her friends were safe. All the animals looked around. They were all there, and then at that moment, the most amazing thing that could happen occurred. One of the zebras said, I felt a drop fall on my face. One of the mountain goats said, me too. The drops that were falling on the animals' heads and faces were raindrops. And finally, after a long time, it had started to rain. The meadow animals were very happy. At first, the rain was light, but then it increased more and more. The rain extinguished the fire, so the animals no longer had to flee any further. The rain also filled the holes and puddles with water, allowing the plants to grow back. Because of this, Ginger and her friends no longer had to continue their long journey to the forest. Soon, all the animals would find enough food and water to eat, and they wouldn't go thirsty or hungry anymore. Ginger, feeling relieved about her friends, returned to her favorite tree and began munching on her favorite leaves and buds.